Welcome to the Political Matrix News. Politics, people, local, regional, national news. Political Matrix News keeps you informed. We have the sources, we have the truth from inside the Political Matrix.
With the Political Matrix blogcast, I'm Rob Milford in Orlando. We cover the entire state of Florida every week with all sorts of political news, innuendo, hearsay, and flat-out gossip. But we got to start somewhere. So the hot news is, oh, wait a minute, in the plaid shirt right there, that would be Greg Fink. He's hanging out in Gainesville town. And Mike Bates is the previous voice of the Panhandle, longtime fixture in Pensacola radio. Hello, Mike. Good to see you.
Good to be here. Thank you.
It's good to be somewhere, right? Because Anyway, we mentioned Jason Palmer in our last segment, and to tease a little bit and talk about Jason Palmer, 52 years old, and he is now the second leading Democratic presidential nominee, closing in on Joe Biden. Jason Palmer won the American Samoa Democratic caucus on Super Tuesday. How about that?
Says a lot.
Yeah, well, you guys have done research on Jason. Tell me all about him.
I haven't done much research on him. I know that he's a good American hero, it looks like, compared to Biden. But I think it's interesting that he would actually campaign, or Biden's ignoring the American Samoan community so badly. I mean, he seems to like every other community there is. The Chinese he loves. I mean, he loves the Russians, the Ukrainians, loves all the people coming over the border. Yeah, he forgot about American Samoa. I mean, imagine if they were coming over the border, he'd probably like them then. But he obviously ignored them for this part of his campaign, and he lost, which is cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah. So Mike, pretty amazing here. Palmer got 56% of the Democratic vote in American Samoa. Joe Biden only got 44%. Hey, that's 12. That's what? That's 12%. That's a serious political butt kicking.
It is. And I like your use of the words a moment ago that he was gaining on Biden. Because, yeah, without question, I mean, he got 56% of the vote in American Samoa. It earned him a whopping 3 delegates. But here's the raw numbers. And typically, I don't get excited about raw numbers. But in this case, I think they are worth mentioning. The total number of votes cast in American Samoa for the Democrat primary, a whopping 91. And Jason Palmer got 44% of those, which is 50. No, I'm sorry, he got 56%. 56, right? Yeah. 56%, which is 51 votes. And Joe Biden got 44%, which is 40 votes. But there were not even 100 votes cast in American Samoa. Now, it got Palmer 3 delegates, so he's officially going to be there at the convention with a couple of delegates cheering him on and voting for him in the first round. But ultimately, it's meaningless. But it does throw an interesting bit of commentary into it, because Biden's nomination is just as inevitable as Trump's is, assuming they both want it.
Palmer is on the ballot in 16 more states and territories. Really? Yeah, so he's got Arizona coming up. I'm not sure if he's on the Florida ballot or not, but Greg can look that up while we're having the conversation. Your thought on this, Greg?
I think it's interesting because, I mean, we are talking about the convention where in the Democrat Party there are no rules. And we also have a contender here, the president, who is very old. There is a possibility that he might not make it all the way to the convention. And so if there's no other person with delegates, except for Palmer,
Mike, you're the rules guy.
Yeah. No, I'm going to challenge that, Greg, because it's not that there are no rules. The rules actually require that the Democrat National Convention, it requires pledged delegates, which is pretty much all the delegates except this handful of superdelegates, to vote for their candidate on the first ballot. So if the first ballot happens, well, Biden obviously wins. Should Biden withdraw his name, then those delegates would be free to vote for whoever they wanted. It ain't going to be Palmer. But the 3 that Palmer got at Super Tuesday in American Samoa, they'll vote for Palmer in the first round. Other than that, all the other delegates are going to be able to vote for whoever they want to. Even me, although I don't predict that.
At the Democratic convention, come on. What are you smoking LSD or something? Palmer, by the way, is 52. He thinks that Biden's current age of 81 and Trump's age of 77 are detrimental to both. And guess what? They should elect somebody who understands young people. 52 in his consideration being a young person, but compared to what we got, yeah, I'm good with that. I understand what he's saying. So let's keep our eye on him. Again, he's in multiple other states, 12 other states, I believe, right now, and he could be the sleeper candidate of the entire political process this year. So stay tuned on that, right? What's going on in the Panhandle?
But if it becomes a contested convention, keep an eye on Gavin Newsom, because he's going to be the nominee if Biden isn't.
August the 19th is the critical date. August the 19th, that's the first day of the Democratic Convention in Chicago. In the history books, those of us who actually watched it live on TV when we were little kids remembers the riot in Chicago in 1968. I'm surprised the Democrats would ever go back in that town again. So there is that. There was a loss. Alabama Republican lost a primary yesterday. Very interesting. You know that darn redistricting thing that pops up every 2 years after the census? Alabama didn't get around to theirs until last year. They redid the district lines between District 1 and District 2. District 1 basically is Mobile and Baldwin County, the two counties at the south end of Alabama, and 3 or 4 more directly above that. And then the next district, District 2, was Congressman Barry Moore. And redistricting, redrawing the lines, Barry Moore beat Jerry Carl in the primary yesterday. So that almost means that a Democrat will pick up what will now be the Alabama second. Again, they adjusted the lines for whatever. And so that could be a Democratic pickup right there. Oh, wait a minute. There is no Republican running in Alabama, too, for this time around. Jerry Carl was in the medical business, and I knew of him, met him one time when I was in Alabama, but that's a few years back. So that's a good thing. He was in the trying to remember. He was in the House Appropriations Committee, and they say though that the new guy coming up is in a House Freedom Caucus. So that is, you cannot get any more supportive of Donald Trump unless you're Matt Gaetz. Being in the Freedom Caucus. So obviously the Republicans are going to have to pick up another seat. They got now, with the resignations, they are at a negative number for official congressional seats come come next year when the new Congress is sworn in. So that's one of those to scratch your head at.
The Republican Party's chances look a lot better in the Senate than they do in the House, which is interesting.
Right.
Well, let's see. Who quit this week? Oh, wait a minute. Kristen Sinema and Mitt Romney and somebody else. Well, you get the idea. It's a mess. It's nuts. Absolutely nuts. We're going to take a break right now for this episode of the Political Matrix Blogcast. Back with one more segment for the week when we return.